Coming up, we're going to talk a little bit of Universal, and then we are going to go on an adventure in the parks. From the Bob Varley Studio in Orlando, Florida, this is the Universal edition of The Diz Unplugged. This is episode 170 of the Diz Unplugged Universal Edition. The Diz Unplugged Universal Edition is brought to you by Dreams Unlimited Travel, experts at helping you plan the perfect Universal vacation. Visit them on the web at www.dreamsunlimitedtravel.com. Hey everyone, welcome to this week's episode of the Diz Unplugged Universal Edition. I am your host, Craig Williams, and today I am joined alongside by my co-host, as always, Mr. Ryno Clavin.
Hello.
Welcome to this week. It's a very important week.
Is it?
Well, not
taxes.
It's tax day as of the time we're recording this. So that's just really breaking through the glass there. So no surprises as always with us. But yeah, we have a little bit of a show here for you, just trying to do our thing the best we can. So it's been a crazy week. Crazy weekend, lots of stuff going on, and just haven't really had any fun news lately, but felt like there was a couple things we needed to talk about. One big thing that we do need to talk about, unfortunately, we can only talk a limited amount about it, but let's not beat around the bush. So this past weekend on Saturday, after team member previews throughout the week, Fast and Furious Supercharged finally opened for its technical rehearsal.
Mm-hmm.
So it is currently in technical rehearsal period. I don't know.
End of sentence.
Yeah, it's a weird verb, but also a noun, I guess, in a way. So it's in technical rehearsal. What's that mean? If you are a fan of Disney and their soft openings, then it would be the exact same thing. It's just this period of time right now where it doesn't necessarily mean that it will open up at the beginning of the morning of each day with Universal Studios Florida. It might not close it might close very early, might close when it hits capacity. Throughout the day, they might have to intermittently close it, open it back up, close it again. Expect a lot of technical issues at this point. I know the ride was still giving them problems right up to when they started team member previews. It was still not really cooperating nicely, and I know that there's been some issues so far during its technical rehearsal period, with a lot of people saying they're taking, it takes a couple rides sometimes if you're unlucky to actually get a full, complete ride through with everything working properly.
Oh.
So, but that's the whole point of it. It's a technical rehearsal period. It's not necessarily what the ride experience will be when it's finished. You know, for the people who can go and do it multiple times over and over again, yes, you're going to get you're probably going to get the full experience after all is said and done. But for the people out there who are only getting the chance to maybe do it that one time and then they have to leave for the airport, probably aren't getting the full show all the way through. So keep that in mind for the next couple weeks. And then the big news to go along with that, too, is that on May 2nd will be the grand opening media event for it as well. So that's quickly approaching. Only 2 Wednesdays away after this. Yeah, only 2 Wednesdays away. So at the time of this. So it's very, very exciting. We will... Honestly, neither one of us got out there over the weekend. It's the one thing that I was told by team member friends who had ridden the attraction before it even started the technical rehearsal on Saturday, is that the attraction, the actual ride portion, besides the fact that we knew there was going to be party buses, instead of like a tram tour from Hollywood. But, it's once you're on your vehicles, you stop at that portion, and then you have the 360 ride portion that you also have out in Hollywood, where Out in Hollywood, it is 3D, and the big change here is that here it is not a 3D attraction.
Oh, really?
No,
I didn't know that. I assumed it was going to be 3D.
it's a very weird choice. I still am not sure on the logistics of it. When I've done it in Hollywood, which I think is 2 or 3 times now, those like it. I am just assuming that all of the characters in it are just computer graphics because the maneuvers they're doing and stuff is just so absurdly fake that it could never possibly be real, and it all looks terrible. And if it looks bad in 3D when it's 2D,
It's not going to look better.
Yeah, I'm very concerned about that. I know reviews have been mixed on it. I think a lot of people though, their reviews are coming at it from never doing Hollywoods before, so they don't have that at least that heads up of, hey, don't expect too much.
Yeah.
But
it's so weird that it's not 3D. I mean, I'm fine with that. I don't like 3D things, but like it was conceived to be in 3D, so you took away an element of it. It's bizarre. I don't know. But there's that whole thing with the drop in 3D stuff right now, so I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think 3D is technically necessary. On top of that, 3D makes a lot of people sick.
Oh, no,
not
I'm
even
one of those
having
people.
3D does it. That still makes people sick. But throw in the 3D element, it makes it even worse. So I think it's a good call on possibly. Once I see it, I'll know for sure. But on paper, I think it's a good call to drop it. All the hype and buzz right now, though, has been all about the queue because just like they've been doing with every single queue since Potter and before that even, it's just incredibly immersive.
Is it not the lineless system again?
They do have virtual line.
Yeah.
So with, since they're in technical rehearsal, it's just been a straight line. It hasn't been using virtual line yet, I don't believe. As of recording this, I don't think they've tried testing it with it yet. It's just been all just get in line and wait. But you get to weave your way through and see all of the cars. And Universal, like a week before it started technical, they shared all the images of the cars throughout it. And as in terms of the War Room pre-shows, I've been hearing mixed things on that. The one positive that I have heard from it is that they do actually have just team members in there as part of the show. So as part of the pre-show, which I think is a great thing to be able to still include that human element, especially for an attraction that's now sitting on the space that used to have Disaster, which was just the first 2/3 of it was all team member oriented and team member heavy, and then also taking over the space for Beetlejuice, which was a show. So even though it took over a lot of stuff, the fact that they could still incorporate team members in as part of the attraction at a period, I think that's really that's something that should be done more often. So that is that, and then we know the height requirement for it is 40 inches. So it is definitely something that's trying to appeal towards more families. And I know that sounds a little bit ironic because that's still you have to be over 3 feet and however many inches. Can't do math off the top of my head. 4 inches, I guess, but that's
5 times 12 is 60. That's 5 feet.
Well, I was doing the 3 times 12 plus
4 times 12 is 48. 3 times 7 is 36. Yeah,
it's
3, 4.
I was just.
That's a short person.
I was being a little bit facetious.
Oh,
I was before I got into this whole video game. Believe it or not, I was actually a math engineering major in college.
I do not believe it.
Well, believe it or not, but I was, and
believe it or not, I'm walking. Doing math at school. I'm Craig Williams.
Yeah, I enjoyed the math. I enjoyed the physics. It did not particularly care for the fact that I had to take biology and chemistry as well too, which I do understand why, but I'm more of a numbers guy. I like that. I don't like real stuff. I don't like mixing, and it's just not. It's not my bag,
chemistry.
baby. Yeah. was not my strongest suit, but holding a camera was. So got in that game, and that's just a little bit about my life. So yeah, we'll get out there and see Fast and Furious Supercharged probably later on this week when we're hanging out over at Universal, and hope to see anyone if we are out there. Not gonna tell you when. It will be a day though, and yeah, we'll can't wait to see it. So I know I'm going to be blown away by the queue, because Universal has not let me down on a queue in eons.
Well, we'll see.
They can't let me down on a queue. Think about it. Even
If it's just
Kong,
cars in a building, I'm going to be let down.
well, that's also not your thing, and you're not the biggest Fast and Furious fan.
Correct.
So
I guess I should have tried to watch all those before the thing. Maybe I'll watch them while we're on our trip to California and the plane and stuff.
There you go. I also have to say, even if you don't like just looking at cars and seeing like all the little hidden touches that they put in there, like I've been looking at everyone's pictures on it. They did throwbacks to Beetlejuice, Back to the Future, Disaster.
Okay,
in
well,
there.
that we'll get into.
Paul Walker's in there.
That's nice.
They found ways to really put in a lot of Easter eggs, which is
Was he in the Hollywood attraction?
no.
No, they did it after he passed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's lots of little hidden touches here and there throughout that I think you could still enjoy. It's like kind of saying for me, like I should have hated everything about the entire experience of Race Through New York starring Jimmy Fallon, considering how much I dislike Jimmy Fallon, and I do not like his Tonight Show and the gags and games and everything they do on it, but yet I can still walk in and appreciate the whole queue area and like it for what it is. So I hope that you can keep an open mind as well.
I will try.
Okay, well,
I will.
good. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. We'll get out there later this week though, and we'll check it out and come up with our opinions. And I'm only going to toss out one more thing. There's other things we could talk about, like Universal Land expansion, and what can we really say with that? Yes,
theme park
they're
thing?
eventually going to build another theme park.
Is that what they said in the call?
No, it's inevitable. Why would they buy enough land to put multiple new properties on and then not put a theme park?
I don't know.
So you don't expand like that and then do nothing with it. It's kind of like, Disney, when they came to Central Florida, they bought a huge big chunk and then they've sold away portions of it, because I think they're even smart enough to know that they're never going to develop every piece of property that they have on there. Some I think they wish they had back in key areas, but it's the complete opposite with Universal. They're acquiring more and more land because that's their only way to expand. And you know what? There's only so much you can do at the two parks. Before then, you have to start saying, okay, well, this attraction, it's only 15 years old, but that's old for us now, so we got to tear it out and put something new on. You can only go around that cycle so much before you have to add a new park. So there's no point in really going in on that, and they're hiring 3,000 more people over the summertime. So if you're coming down to the Orlando area looking for a job, Universal's hiring. So take advantage of that. But I want to toss out one rumor that popped up, I think, sometime last week, maybe 2 weeks ago. It might have been longer than that, but just came on my radar. And I know we don't talk rumors on this show, but this one had me excited, and that's the Lost Boys for Halloween Horror Nights.
Oh, yeah. Because they always kind of do a vampire house.
Yeah.
But that would be... I think that would be cool.
Are you a fan of the movie?
Oh, yeah, I love the movie.
Okay. See, I didn't know. That's one thing that you and I have never really talked about. We talk about a lot of movies. I mean, next week, you're in luck. We've already recorded next week's episode, and we got a good talk on Blast from the Past in that one.
We did, yes.
Yeah, we're always talking movies, but one we've never really talked about is Lost Boys, especially when it creeps up during the Halloween period. I think it is such an underrated Halloween movie. That
Come on, like the Corey's in that movie, with the bandanas and the Chinese food that turns into maggots, and then Diane Huist is the mother.
Well, and Kiefer, right?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Kiefer, yeah. And
Yeah.
it's like such a great follow up if you've just watched Stand by Me, because I like to believe that the character from Stand by Me that's what happened to him. He became the vampire from Lost Boys.
Very interesting.
See, I like to keep it all because that's Corey Feldman's characters, like here and back. See, it all ties back together.
I think this would actually be a brilliant house, and I think part of the reason why it would get me excited is that you have before, like last year we had Hive, which was not a good house at the start, but it also Hive was going for that 80s vampires, but disgusting, decrepit vampires.
Yeah.
And towards the end, that house got better and better. As the more times I went through it, they I know you still didn't like it, but so to go with 80s vampires from this spectrum now, and also throw in that intellectual property of the movie, which I don't hear a lot of people talking about it, but it's an awesome movie. I think it's setting up for what could be a very impressive house, and it's strange that the trend's happening with it, because we have Stranger Things, which takes place in the 80s. We don't have anything else yet at this point, but everyone expects it to be announced, and
80s.
the new version of that in the 80s, people think The Thing, not the original one from the 50s, but Kurt Russell's The Thing is going to come
movie too.
80s, and then if Lost Boys gets thrown in there too, another example of the 80s. It's just
80s was a good time for horror movies.
Oh, it absolutely was. So it's strange how if any of those come to be.
Oh, I have a theory here too. So not a theory, but I'm just curious. I was thinking about this the other day because we had talked about it. What do you think about the possibility of them having a Halloween house again because of the Halloween movie that's coming out in October? And that's a sequel. Yeah. That's a sequel only to the first original Halloween movie, not to any of the other ones. Do you think that they would potentially bring back a Halloween house?
Oh, I absolutely think that they will, mostly because this new version of Halloween, the new sequel, is a Blumhouse production.
That's what it was. That's what had me triggered the thought. I was like, why did I think of that? And it was because they were talking, because it was I forget the name of the guy who runs it.
Jason Blum.
Jason, yeah. He was talking about an interview about he's seen the cut of the movie and blah, blah, and I was like, you had said, I wouldn't be surprised if there was another Blumhouse. And then I was like, maybe they could do like a Halloween, because they did Insidious 4, and that didn't even come out till January.
Yeah, no, and that was such a strange choice, considering how in the future that was. But Halloween, they've done the original Halloween, and they've done Halloween 2 already. I can't foresee them ever doing Halloween 3, Season of the Witch.
Son of a Witch?
Season of the Witch. That would be my favorite house ever, though.
No Michael Myers in it, the entire thing.
Yeah, and just a lot of good old-fashioned Irish racism. With Silver Shamrock, the great company. But I love Halloween 3, so it's a guilty pleasure of mine. So I would love if they could do that one day. They had in the first year, I think it was the first year, with the trick-or-treaters that were all wearing the Silver Shamrock masks, the 3 different ones. But they need a full Halloween 3 house. But yeah, no, I think it's absolutely possible that they bring back Halloween. That is a rumor that's been floating around too, and the fact that it is a Blumhouse production just adds leverage. They are completely in bed with each other. Everything has gone well. I mean, Happy Death Day, they had that in Hollywood. The movie wasn't terrible. I enjoyed the movie, and it did semi-well. I didn't see, I think,
Truth or Dare.
Truth or Dare came in 3rd place this past weekend, but that was...
I have not heard strong things about that one, though.
I haven't either, but at the end of the day, I wasn't expecting them to ever break ground on amazing ones, and I'm still disappointed. You and I did talk about it. I'm still disappointed that we didn't get more with... Gremlins won't make a fun house.
I know.
I wish it would. It wouldn't, though. I think Get Out would make for a good house. I think it has enough creepy stare elements.
I imagine a lot of people jumping out to
to
come at you. Yeah.
And I think is it too soon to still give spoilers on Get Out? The movie's been out for over a year. It came out in February last year.
But I think when it was nominated for the Academy Award, I think a lot more people are seeing it now, and I think it's become like a little more readily available for people to watch places. So I'd say until it's on Netflix or Hulu, then you shouldn't give it a.
I will only slightly. It was on HBO Go, so that's close enough. I will give a slight spoiler. It sure does have a fiery end to it, and I think that could make for a good house.
I do not remember that at the end. Oh, maybe I do. I remember the whole movie. Oh, okay. I was like, I liked that movie a lot.
Okay, good. No, I think there's a lot to choose from right now with Blumhouse, and I
Sink
wouldn't
into the chair.
I wouldn't want the last year's house, the strange mix of.
I said that wrong. It's the floor. Sorry.
Yeah, what was even the first part of last year's?
Well, last year's what?
Last year's Blumhouse.
It was the Purge was part of it. Insidious.
Well, no, Insidious was the final part of it.
No, it was Insidious, The Purge, and then the fourth.
No.
The last thing you saw, you went through was the not Insidious. I'm sorry, it's Sinister.
Thank you.
The Purge, Insidious. I always get the two names mixed up. I'm sorry.
God, for yelling at me. When
I was
knew
imagining. I was like,
Insidious.
it's got that weird drag queen ghost in it.
Yeah.
And not drag queen ghost. That is the other one, but the one with the really long black hair and the creepy coat.
I just couldn't think of the name of Sinister, so I watched both Sinister 1 and 2 before seeing that house, and I just wasn't impressed. But
I don't even know if I knew there was a second one.
Yeah, neither one was very good. So
Did you see the fourth Insidious finally?
I did. I saw it in theaters. So I thought it wrapped up the series really well. I mean, the first movie is still the strongest, and the second one is the next best. But I think it kind of washes out the taste of the third one, which wasn't a bad one. It was. I mean, it took the side realm going with Dermot Mulroney and his daughter in the apartment.
Is it not in the house? The third one?
No.
I thought it was like a prequel, but in the house still. I didn't know.
No.
Okay.
But this one does lead it back. The fourth one focuses on Elise's
a young
childhood.
Elise. Yeah.
So it was. It wasn't a great movie. Kind of like how probably Truth or Dare is, and Happy Death Day. It was fun, but not overall. It wasn't a great movie. A lot of these aren't, but I think there was still good aspects to it. But Blumhouse is just kicking the crap out of the horror genre and releasing stuff regularly, and overall pretty good. So I could definitely see it having an impact on this year's Horror Nights.
I can't wait for the Halloween movie. So I do hope that they kind of do that, especially if it's like supposed to be like classic Halloween, but now, so like it'd be really cool to see that.
No, and like you said, another thing in the 80s there too. That's if all of those would happen, that's at least five things in the 80s, which would just be.
If they wanted it to be 80s themed, I would be all about it.
It was a good year. It was a good year.
My birth decade.
I was going off Goldberg reasoning. So, the year was 1980 something. I just saw Empire Strikes Back. Yet, meanwhile, I'm going to sing a song that was from 1981. That's what the year Empire Strikes Back did come out.
No, it didn't.
Yeah, it did.
Empire Strikes Back came in 80, Greg. Come on. 77, 80, 83.
Raiders of the Lost Ark was 81.
Yes.
And then 84 was Temple of Doom.
82
was 89.
And God. Well, you know what? It's all supposed to be memories. That's why it's like that. It's supposed to be jumbled. You get your memories all jumbled.
Yeah. Well, I do get mine clearly. I'm all over the place on stuff. But yeah, so that was a big tangent there. So that's it though. We're done with all that, and now I think we're going to venture off into the theme park to bring a little nice in the field segment for you. So here we go. Hey everyone, just like we said, coming to Universal Orlando. We are here right now inside Universal Studios Florida, just standing right outside of Animal Actors on Location, because Ryno's never done it before.
Nope.
And we're not doing that today either. Instead, we're gonna pop outside of Bumblebee Man's taco truck right there behind us, and we are going to get some food. So we've done this in a vlog before, way back when. Haven't actually done this for the show, so first time.
Did we? Was I in that?
I wasn't even a part of it. I think it was just you.
No, I don't think I ate at the taco truck. Oh, maybe I did.
I think it was just you.
Yeah, I thought I was
don't
inside
remember.
the building. I don't know.
Who knows?
I don't know what I do.
Let's go.
Yeah.
We came inside to eat our meal that we got outside at Bumblebee Man Tacos. There is seating outside, but it's like almost 90 degrees at this point, just way too hot. And yeah, I'm not dealing with that mess today. But what did we get? Well, for $8.99, we got the Korean beef tacos, which is a slow cooked beef, and topped with slaw, an Asian slaw, and served with a side of chips. And then we also got the macho nachos, which you can get with either beef or chicken. That we did with chicken, because we already got the beef with the tacos. It's topped with guacamole, salsa, nacho cheese, sour cream, jalapenos. It is a massive and heavy dish. Like, I don't even know if we'll be able to finish it between the two of us, and that's $9.99. So just based on size right away, the nachos are definitely the better of the two when we're talking about getting a deal. These are just massive nachos. But we'll dig in here in 1 second. But I'm gonna let Ryno go first with his digging in.
I'm gonna go with the taco first, okay? The Korean beef taco here. Nice and warm. The beef is good. It's nice. It's tender. There is some flavor in here I'm getting. A little bit of that, what was it, radish? It's supposed to be radish and cucumber, but I don't know that those are the flavors I'm getting. I don't even see the cucumber. Well, I enjoy it. This is actually pretty good. I'm enjoying it so far. I like these type of what am I looking for? Tortillas. Yeah. The flour tortillas, because they're just a little softer. I don't like when they're the corn ones. I know that's probably a little more authentic and whatnot, but Craig, you're pretty good with flavors like this. You let me know what you think of this one. I don't want to start on the nachos without you.
Wrap it up and make it like a little blanket.
Everybody stick together.
It's nice to eat something for once that I don't have to just shove like super into my mouth. It's very, very flavorful. The little slaw that they have inside is adding a nice crunch to it, but not really adding the flavor. All of the flavor is coming straight from the beef. It's not the most authentic of Korean beefs that you're going to have, but it's got that sweetness, a little bit of intensity when it comes to the sodium, so you get that sweet, salty. I like that a lot. It's a tasty taco, but we also have nachos.
So the Korean beef taco came with a side of chips as well, but nothing with these, and they're not like chips, they're tortilla chips. So you're like, if we hadn't gotten the nachos, these are very plain and whatever. But
You can get extra sides, but it costs extra.
Yeah, like guacamole was $1.29, and I think salsa was $1 and stuff. But I feel like it should come with it. But whatever. Agree with Craig too that the Korean beef could use like it could have used an extra dump of that slaw on it, because I was a fan of the slaw, but it was very tiny there. But this looks good. This looks like there's a ton of jalapenos on here. We got some of that guac. I see salsa poking in there. Some chicken. Oh. I'm gonna go in with the chips from the taco. That piece of chicken's way too big. I don't know what type of... There's not a chicken chip bearing... Oh! Sturdy chip bearing... I don't know what I'm saying.
I mean, it's good. I like the guacamole. Ooh, the jalapeno was a little spicier than I expected. I like the guacamole and the salsa and the cheese. Sometimes I'm weary because if you see here, it's that liquid cheese, which some people are like, that is the nacho cheese. Like, that's the cheese you should use. I'm a fan of the sprinkle cheese myself, but I'm enjoying this all together right now. 90-degree heat. I don't know if I'm going to enjoy it later, but Craig, why don't you dig in here before the chips get too... they're already soaking in the juices here. I think you need to try this before they get too soggy.
Yeah, soggy nachos are never ideal, but they are an inevitability of life. That's me being prophetic. First bite with just cheese and sour cream. A little bit of guac, pretty good. This is the real one, though.
I like the chip.
That's a mouthful. Okay, when you put everything together, this is actually really delicious. I think it's a really good basket of nachos. So one issue that I do have, while there's a great amount of toppings on top, it is a little bit lacking in the bottom, except for the nacho cheese. The nacho cheese has seemed to find a way. Life finds a way here at Universal with Jurassic Park and all that. The nacho cheese has also found a way to get down there, but not the other toppings. But I also like a good plain nacho with just nacho cheese. The kind that you would get at a baseball game or hockey game. So this is just going to be a lot to dig through. So we're going to have to shut our mouths for a second so we can shove our mouths. We just wrapped up our tacos and nachos. I know. We ended up eating that entire thing of nachos.
It was pretty good once we really got into it.
Yeah. No.
But the chips were, as any nachos, as we said, they got a little wilty in there.
Oh yeah, they were super soggy once we got to the bottom, but I don't think that was also an issue. These are the kind of nachos where you're going to want to come at it with a fork, and that's the best method. But no, they were very tasty. Good flavors all around.
Jalapenos kind of popped on them too, so it was nice and spicy too. Just the right amount of spicy.
Yeah, it's almost, I think, the very first time that Ryno has actually been okay, if not overly impressed by the amount of spiciness. It was too spicy for him.
Yeah.
So overall, I think the nachos are definitely worth it at $9.99.
Yeah.
The tacos at $8.99, a little steep, especially for no dipping.
Right, exactly. I think if they were maybe had been a salsa, I'd feel a little bit differently, but you're kind of just left with chips that leave a dry taste in your mouth when you're done. So I like the idea more and more these days, of coming here so frequently, of finding those shareable items.
Yeah.
And I think that was a good, if it was you and me, or even if there were one or two other people here, the chips would have been a great shareable.
I will say the tacos do kind of give off a false sense of healthiness to them. So if you are looking for something lighter, something that you want to believe is healthier than your average standard theme park burger and fries, then something else for you. Yeah, it's definitely less greasy. And yeah, with the chips being the side instead of French fries, overall just a lighter meal. But if you've had this before, let us know what you think of it. Otherwise, we are going back to the studio right now to wrap up the show.
Back to you.
Oh boy, gosh golly, that was fun, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yes, okay. Thank you.
I was trying to cover a burp. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. That's good for the audio listeners. Yeah, as always, we have fun. We do. So thank you, Ryno, for being here for this discussion in the beginning and then going out into the parks with me. And thank you to everyone out there who watched and listened to this. Of course, if you need more information, head to disunplug.com, home of our show notes page, where you can find links to our social media channels, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Find a link to our email, uopodcast@disunplug.com, plus so much more. If you are watching this on YouTube, please hit that subscribe button if you still haven't yet. Make sure you comment and hit the thumbs up button if you like this, and leave us lots of good comments below. We want to read them. If you're listening to this on iTunes, make sure you're also subscribed and you're rating us and reviewing us. It is appreciated. Yeah, it's all good. So thank you once again to everyone out there for listening and watching. We hope you enjoyed it. We'll be back with you next week for another episode of the Diz Unplugged Universal Edition. But until then, remember, no resolutions.